Welcome. My name is Anna Betka and I'm a pianist, vocal coach, and writer. Today is a very special day. Today we celebrate Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's 265th birthday. And I am celebrating this momentous occasion by making a Sachertorte. But first, let me take a sip of coffee. Oh, would you look at that? What a coincidence. Mozart on my cup. One more sip. Okay. What is a Sachertorte, you might ask? A Sachertorte is a Viennese specialty. It is a cake made of 2 layers of chocolate sponge heaven cake, filled with a layer of apricot glaze, coated on the sides and on the top with a chocolate ganache. So my ingredients are all here, ready for the cake. I think I need some extra chocolate for the ganache, but that's over there. So we have here, what do we have? What are all the things? First of all, make sure before you get started to preheat your oven to 400 and make sure your cake pan is nicely greased with some parchment paper on the bottom. Okay, so now we have our ingredients here. So for the cake, for the torte section, we have 9 tablespoons of butter or a stick and about 1 tablespoon at room temperature, very important. Then we're going to use, I think, a teaspoon of vanilla, and that's for something else. This we have, what is this? Yes, this is sugar, confectioner's sugar, a cup, 1 cup. We have half a cup of regular granulated sugar here. We have some flour, 1 cup of flour, all-purpose flour. And we have 4.5 ounces of chocolate. Bittersweet chocolate, finely chopped. I don't know, is this finely chopped? Maybe. Very important that you use a bar of chocolate and don't try to shortcut it with little morsels or, chips, chocolate chips. Doesn't do the trick, I'll explain later. Then here we have 6 eggs separated at room temperature. Important. So we have the 6 egg yolks, 6 egg whites. Good. Now for the apricot glaze, I have prepared here. So you can use water, but I wanted to use rum. I just think it adds a little extra something. So I only had Czech rum. So that's what I'm using here. That's what I had at home. And then some, of course, Bonne Maman. Who uses other jam than Bonne Maman? I mean, seriously. And we have some apricot preserves for the glaze in the middle. All right. So, a Sachertorte and Mozart. What is the connection between these two? First of all, technically, they were both born in Austria. And although Mozart wasn't born in Vienna, the capital, he did love Vienna, and actually his career reached its pinnacle in Vienna. And of course, the Sachertorte also is, still flourishing in Vienna. I mean, that's one of the tourist highlights. When you go to Vienna, you go to the Hotel Sacher and you have a slice of Sachertorte, or you go to one of the cafe houses and you have a legendary dessert. Unfortunately, Mozart never had a chance to taste this wonderful cake because he died about 40 years before the Sachertorte was made. He had lived longer and not died such an untimely death at the age of 35. I think maybe he would have tried the Sachertorte, gotten a chance to try it anyway. That is the connection. And now there is another connection that I will elaborate on later. But first, let's talk a bit about the Sachertorte and its history. The Sachertorte was made by chance. And in 1832, Prince Metternich, who was the, what was he now? the chancellor, I believe, the state chancellor of Austria, he liked to try new things. And he requested one night that he would like to try a new dessert. And of course, the head chef that night was sick, naturally. After much chaos in the kitchen, there was an assistant chef whose name was Franz Sacher. He invented this wonderful cake. And it is the same Sacher as Hotel Sacher, and in fact, the same family as the creator of this cake, who founded the hotel afterwards. So that is a little history on the Sachertorte for you. Now, I still have yet to find out why apricot is so prevalent in many Central European Austrian desserts. I've also, in the past, I made Linzertorte, which also has traditionally the apricot preserves in the middle. That's a bit on Sachertorte. All right, that's enough of history for now. Let me take one more sip of my coffee from my special Mozart cup. And let's go get started on some Sachertorte. All right, let's get started by melting some chocolate in my makeshift double broiler here. So if you do not have a double broiler, no worries. You just get yourself a medium-sized pot like this. Fill it with about an inch of water. And now we're going to crank that baby up to boil. That is getting ready to boil. Go find yourself a heat-proof large bowl that fits inside the pot but can't touch the bottom of the pot. Okay, so like so. Once it starts boiling, I'm going to turn it off or turn it on a very low heat setting, not even simmering, and we'll go to the next step. We are boiling. Time to turn it down all the way. I'm going to turn it down to, I don't know, should I turn it down to low or simmer? I'll just do simmer. Alright, now we're going to wait for that water to still. And meanwhile, I'm going to put the chocolate into the heat-proof bowl. So now I'm going to put the chocolate in the bowl, and now it's going to start to melt. So now that the chocolate is basically all melted, there's just still a few pieces that are not, but that's okay. Let me explain why you need to use a bar of chocolate and not shortcut it with morsels or chocolate chips. So a few months ago I made a cake that had to have chocolate, melted chocolate in it, and I used, what did I use? Chips, chocolate chips, I think. And I was wondering, why is the chocolate not melting properly? So then I watched a cooking video, actually, and the chef said that the morsels and the chips, the reason they keep their shape so well is because they're coated in paraffin. And obviously, paraffin, if it melts, there is going to be this different substance. The chocolate will not be completely smooth. So, make sure you use bars of chocolate and not morsels or chocolate chips. Okay, we have the finished product here before we beat together the flour and the egg whites. No, not the flour and the egg whites. First, the sugar and the egg whites, all right, in a separate bowl. But this is our finished product of combining the chocolate. Let's just give it a little taste. Just, double checking if it tastes okay. Very good. All right, that's finally in the oven. Time for a little coffee before I get started on my apricot glaze. And to chat a bit more about Mozart and Vienna. Mozart moved to Vienna in 1781, and 1785 was a particularly prolific and productive year for him. Now, that also happens to be the year he wrote the Fantasia in C minor, Köchel 475, which was published along with the matching sonata that he wrote half a year before that, also in the key of C minor. So now, C minor, I don't know about you, but I've always found C minor to be such a dramatic key. I like to think that in the Sachertorte there is a lot of drama because we have the chocolate ganache, we have the chocolate torte, we have that delicious apricot glaze. Anyway, enough about food. That'll come later. Mozart, back to Mozart. In 1785, he had quite a few things going on, both professionally and personally. So in January of that year, he found out that his newly composed opera, Le Nozze di Figaro, was banned by the emperor due to its politically incorrect content. And later that year, he actually met up with Mr. Haydn to play through some of the string quartets and other works dedicated to him, to his esteemed peer. So I have this book of Mozart letters here, not only from Wolfgang Mozart, but also from his father, Leopold. And so I thought I would read you some of these letters. All right, this is not a letter, but it is a little snippet about that time period in Vienna when Mozart was so busy. Between 1782 and the beginning of 1785, Mozart gradually became more and more in demand as performer, teacher, and composer. This was the period of the Hafner and Linz symphonies, the first 9 of the mature piano concerti written for his own Viennese performances, and the first of the great string quartets later dedicated to Haydn. So in this letter, which is dated the 16th of February, 1785, Leopold is writing to his daughter, Wolfgang's sister, Nannerl. Leopold came to Vienna to visit his son for an extended stay. I think it was about 2.5 months long. And during that time, boy, was that household busy. We arrived at the Schullerstrasse number 846, first floor, at 1 o'clock on Friday. That your brother has very fine quarters with all the necessary furniture you may gather from the fact that his rent is 460 gulden. On the same evening, we drove to his first subscription concert, at which a great many members of the aristocracy were present. Each person pays a souverain d'or, or 3 ducats, for these Lenten concerts. Your brother is giving them at the Melgrube, and only pays half a souverain d'or each time for the hall. The concert was magnificent, and the orchestra played superbly. That's high praise coming from Leopold. In addition to the symphonies, a female singer of the Italian theater sang 2 arias. Then we had a new and very fine concerto, Köchel 466, by Wolfgang, which the copyist was still copying when we arrived, and the rondo, of which your brother did not even have time to play through, as he had to supervise the copying. You can well imagine that I met many old acquaintances there, who all came up to speak to me. I was also introduced to several other people. That's enough for now. Time to make some apricot glaze. And I almost forgot. While I'm preparing my ingredients for the apricot glaze, Take a listen to this very dramatic section from the Fantasia that actually, if you click on the link below in the description, you can hear me play a concert of some Mozart. Take a listen. Some more from Leopold. On Saturday evening, Herr Joseph Haydn and the two Barons Tinti came to see us, and the new quartets were performed, or rather the three new ones, Kuchel 458, 464, and 465, which Wolfgang has added to the other three, which we have already. The new ones are somewhat easier, but at the same time excellent compositions. Haydn said to me, "Before God and as an honest man, I tell you that your son is the greatest composer known to me, either in person or by name. He has taste and, what is more, the most profound knowledge of composition." I think he probably put that on his website. On Sunday evening, the Italian singer, Madame Laschi, yes, who is leaving for Italy, gave a concert in the theater at which she sang two arias. A cello concerto was performed, a tenor and a bass each sang an aria, and your brother played a glorious concerto which he composed for Mademoiselle Paradis for Paris. I was sitting only 2 boxes away from the very beautiful Princess of Württemberg, and had the great pleasure of hearing so clearly all the interplay of the instruments that for sheer delight tears came into my eyes. When your brother left the platform, the emperor waved his hat and called out, "Bravo, Mozart!" And when he came on to play, there was a great deal of clapping. We were not at the theater yesterday, for every day there is a concert. This evening there is another one in the theater at which your brother is again playing a concerto. I shall bring back several of his new compositions. Little Karl, that's his son, Wolfgang's son, is the picture of him. He seems very healthy, but now and then, of course, children have trouble with their teeth. On the whole, the child is charming, for he is extremely friendly and laughs when spoken to. I have only seen him cry once, and the next moment he started to laugh, ... Oh, that's pretty funny. What did Mozart eat on a regular basis? So apparently his favorite dish was liver dumplings with sauerkraut. Yum. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. It's an acquired taste, for sure. Generally speaking, from what I could find, the food he ate was quite rich. So for instance, for dessert at the time, what was very common, or what I found that was very common, was glacé fruits. So candied fruit, which is a heck of a lot of sugar. Also, there were a lot of game meats, so roast pheasant was a big one. Leafy greens, what's that? For another moment of drama, another dramatic interlude, have another listen to part of the Sonata, which I think is... basically done. So now I'm bringing this apricot glaze to a boil. I used up the entire jar of Bonne Maman and added more than a couple tablespoons of rum. So now I'm going to wait until this gets nice and sticky, and I'm going to take my cake out of the oven. All right, our wonderful cake of heaven is cooling right now. You can see I cut the top off. It does have a tendency to dome in the oven. So I did that. It's not completely even, but you know what? That's okay because it's going to be covered in chocolate ganache anyways. Please do excuse me if I have crumbs all over my face. I know I've been eating these cake leftovers here. But where was I? Just lost in thoughts of cake. Now we wait. In the meantime, what I've done, I have chopped up some bittersweet chocolate, 6 ounces, to get ready for the ganache. That is combined with some water, I believe, and sugar, obviously. And what else? Don't make the same mistake I did with the apricot glaze. I made it way ahead of schedule, and now it's like solidified in the pot, which means I have to add more rum. Can that be a good thing? Right, the cake is out of the fridge. So let's cut into it. Cut ourselves a slice. I have a confession to make. I started the cake without you. My apologies. But it's just so good. The homemade whipped cream is where it's at. This is so good. You know, serve it with a nice cup of coffee, a glass of water on the side, as they do in the cafe houses in Vienna. Very good. Nice moist cake. I taste the jam in the middle, so that's what I wanted. Ganache could use some work, but it is delicious. Very dramatic cake. Just like that Mozart. Thanks for tuning in to this special baking episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I have piqued your curiosity to listen to some more Mozart. To do that, check out the links below in the description. There's a concert tonight, there's a concert on Friday, and then there are more dates you can choose from. I believe you can also listen to the concert on demand. I will be performing Mozart's Fantasia and Sonata, both in that dramatic key of C minor, and I hope you get a chance to listen. I'll see you next time, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to receive more content in the future. In the meantime, let's wish Mozart a very happy birthday. Enjoy!